All right, so welcome to our 2024 expansion. We are going to talk a little bit today about what's happening, what's the new plan, what the parking and all the situation is, and any questions you guys have at the end. Let me kind of move through here. So, like we talked about, we are going to talk a little bit on our new mission and vision, the purpose, on why life exists, why we need to expand in the first place, which is kind of exciting, the project details, the timelines, and then some of the barriers we identified moving through this project and what it looks like. Your panel today is Margaret, our CEO. If you haven't met her, she's pretty amazing. Ashley, who's in charge of our pathways, it says day treatment and transition. She's our pathways director. Myself, who's director of community outreach, and Miss Caitlin, who is the ABA clinical director. So all of us today are going to be here for you to ask questions if you have any. As we move through, if you have anything, again, feel free to drop it in the chat. We do have that being monitored. All right, Miss Margaret, up to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, so I'm gonna kind of just repeat myself a little bit. The last time I did one of these was when the pandemic hit, and so I asked that you guys be patient with me and gracious as you always are. I am excited to be able to have this opportunity tonight to share what is about to happen, actually starting this coming week over spring break, and the future of what life is attempting to do to best serve your families. I think here with the history of life, this isn't our first rodeo. We have been ultimately expanding since the day our doors opened in 2007. From 2007 to 2015, we actually had multiple expansions at our previous location up until the time we came here in 2015. And we have been working tirelessly, if you will, to ultimately get to this day where we can utilize this entire property, which is close to 10 acres. We've really only been operating at half capacity, and we are finally at a place where we're going to fulfill our dream, and that is to build out the second half of the property, and that's really what I want to talk about tonight. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. There are really three reasons, if you will, when you ask the question as to, well, why? Why are you about to embark in this journey? Because it is a journey. It has been a journey for the last year. And it is three reasons, and it's our mission, our vision, and our purpose. Our mission: working together to empower people through extraordinary services for developmental disabilities. Our vision: to solidify a full circle of care that can be promoted throughout our community by creating opportunities for growth for individuals with developmental disabilities as early as possible and for as long as their loved ones wish. And then our purpose statement. This is one that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is because people with developmental disabilities deserve better care than what has been available historically, deserve to learn and grow from the same educator, therapist, or caregiver quality as their neurotypical peers, deserve to get the same service regardless of funding, whether they could pay privately or not, deserve to get service in one place where parents and caregivers could drop off and they can get everything they need and then get picked up. Deserve all the care, deserve all their care providers to be on the same page and provided cohesive, convenient, quality care. Deserve staff that care and will fight for them and be supported in doing so. Deserve that care to extend to all of their needs, the whole individual, meeting them where they are and helping them grow as best as they can. Deserve service regardless of age, demographic, disability, or need, and all should be welcome and given a chance to succeed and integrate. and deserve the same level of respect, care, and tailored resources to normalize their lives to the extent possible as anyone who is neurotypical. And that purpose statement is what I live by each and every day, all day. So because of the mission statement, because of the vision statement, and because of the purpose statement, that is why we believe it is our duty to embark on this next adventure in the expansion. Tammy, you can go ahead and proceed to the next slide. Believe it or not, this expansion has already been in the works. We have been working for quite a while in trying to create a design, get, through permitting to be actually in the place we are today, which is the construction phase. And we started in 2023 with the remodel of the therapy department. And you see a few rooms there that kind of show, if you will, just where we were and where we are and the excellence in which we are striving to achieve with this remodel and with this expansion. And remembering that this expansion is not only an external expansion, but an internal expansion, which we will talk more about. With that, Tammy, if you can go on to the next slide. This will again just show you more of the therapy rooms and our therapy gym. Again, my point here that I'm trying to make is that I want you all to see, just the overall aesthetics of what we're trying to accomplish here for your loved ones. Life started with a mission to give more than what was currently out there. And although we recognize that there are a lot of vendors out there, we don't take it lightly that you continue to choose life. And with that, it is our obligation to ensure that what we're providing is above par. There has to be a reason why you're choosing us, and it's not, taken lightly, that responsibility. One of the things that I really wanted to touch on tonight was that this expansion also really targets what we know is yet to come. In front of you is some statistics that I'll review quickly, but also speak to why we're doing what we're doing. And that is that the current information and statistics in the state of Arizona reflects that there are 1.1 million children diagnosed with a disability ages K through 12. There are also over 1.5 million adults in Arizona that are currently listed as having a disability. Arizona has a population of 7.4 million as of 2023. This means that roughly a third of all individuals in Arizona have a disability. Many can work and participate in the community with minimal support, but there are those that are not able to, and special accommodations and support systems must be in place. Life strides to ensure that with our expansion, we will be able to support individuals throughout their lifetime. We aim to support their learning to be in the most independent version of themselves. We will do this by expanding our support services during childhood, but also expand programming opportunities as they reach adulthood. Life's Pathway Department will provide a roadmap for individuals as they grow. Tammy, if you want to go on to the next slide, please. I'm going to introduce Miss Ashley, who is the director of our Pathways program. And she's going to explain a little bit about this realignment, if you will, of programming and services on our campus, but we'll also better explain where the future of life is going and the services in which we are trying to provide. Miss Ashley, I will hand it over to you.
Hi guys, so glad everyone's here today. Like Margaret said, my name is Ashley Watsky. I am the director over all day treatment, our transition and employment services here at Life, which ultimately is the Pathways Department. Our Pathways Department is made up of 3 different sectors. Pathways to Independence is still a part of our academy umbrella. They are funded through tuition, and in that program, they focus on independent living and a lot of things for their functional living skills. Also, our Pathways to Employment programs are made up of 2 separate programs, which is Pathways to Employment, formerly known as TTE, Transition to Employment. DDD just rebranded themselves. And then our Group Supported Employment, which is GSE, where they focus on employment skills for their future. And then our Pathways to Adulthood, which we formerly referred to as our DTA, that's for individuals 18 years and older. And that program is funded through DDD. Our employment programs are also funded through DDD. Tammy, you can go to the next slide. So our overall objective for all of the programs is individualized programming for entering into their teen and adult years, and what can we do to enhance those skills that they are currently working on and meeting the individuals where they're at to enhance each individual. An example of those things is, but not limited to any of it, is daily living skills, independence, vocational skills, and social skills. So in all of the programs within the Pathways Department, we focus on that, but also a lot more. And all of these programs are overseen by myself, and then have certain individuals that are kind of the head of the programs themselves that do the day-to-day programming for them. Tammy? All right, so Pathways to Independence, again, this is a part of our academy funded through tuition, targeting foundational independent skills, daily living, communication, and individuals in this program are 13 years and older. And we made that program right now currently is made up of 4 different program spaces where they get to rotate around, much like a high school setting where they have a bell, they rotate around and focus on different skills within each environment. Each environment within that program has specific goals that they work on within there. Currently, my instructors are Miss Kara, Miss Amina, Jennifer, and Miss Isabel. And then I oversee them with what they're doing, as well as the para staff that are also in there. Pathways to Employment. So in these programs, they could be working on the prereq skills to obtain a job, or they could hold a job already with us here on campus. So our overall vision is they're starting in the Pathways to Employment and gaining those skills and learning all of the things that they need for employment, down to doing interviews, making resumes, doing all of those things to hopefully obtain a job where they could hold a job with us here on campus. Right now, that program is a little small, the Group Supported Employment, but we have individuals that have para positions, maintenance positions, and administrative positions. And those are all things that they showed interest in, and we created positions strictly for them that were meaningful and purposeful for them. In those programs, we are teaching to customer service. A lot of that comes from running our snack shack here on campus. So they get to utilize that as a way to learn all of the skills, the money skills, the customer service, making food, obtaining a food handler's card, those things, budgeting, task completion, teamwork, conflict resolution within the workplace, those things. And Miss Heidi is our coordinator over employment. And then she has Miss Julie and other para staff that also assist her within those programs. Pathways to Adulthood, which used to be, we referred to it as our DTA. Very, very similar to Pathways to Independence. We work on the same skills. The only thing that's different is the funding source and the ages. So they are doing their daily living skills, advocacy, leisure, social skills, communication, and that fun stuff. My supervisor over that program is Miss Renee, and she has paras DSPs that are under her that work with individuals to for the day-to-day programming. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Miss Margaret.
Thank you, Miss Ashley, for that. I think it's important just to kind of clarify. So with the academy, if you will, we have what is known as 5 tracks. And what Ashley just explained to you is what we speak of internally as track 5, but externally it is called pathways. And we're going to talk more about what it looks like for our other academy tracks, 1, 2, and 3, and 4 for BPS later in this presentation. But the reason we started with that is what you will kind of see coming up here with the expansion. I think it's important that you understand that we are one organization with multiple teams, and that's really what most of you families signed up for, is that we are a transdisciplinary treatment facility that believes that if you bring all the professionals and educators together under one operation, that is the way in which to best serve our families. So regardless of what department and what service you may be receiving, at all times, you understand that it comes from one family, and that is the Life family. So with that, preparing for the expansion. Oh my goodness, it is here. So some of the things we had to really work through first and foremost was what we know is right around the corner, getting us through this school year and then into the summer program. And because we know we are going to be in the midst of heavy construction this summer, we did have to make some really tough decisions, if you will, in how we were going to set up our programming and how we were going to try and best serve as many families as we could, while also being sensitive to what is going to be happening around the programming on the property. And so with that, we did have to set up our summer programming into 2 sessions, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday. And programming will be 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. BPS, for the first time ever, is going to actually be running its own summer program, which I'm really excited about. They will not necessarily be connected with the DTS funding system or programming, but they will be very much mirroring the activities that you would find in a traditional summer programming with one-on-one ABA support. So I am really excited about what that's going to look like this summer. Tammy. So with this, we have identified some barriers that we're going to talk about, and that is we understand we're offering a smaller DTS program this summer, that we are offering minimal respite this summer. We will have decreased afternoon therapy makeups, which is going to be difficult, but understanding that we will problem solve that. We understand that because of the construction zone that we're going to be showing you very shortly here, parking is going to be a consideration. And we also understand that construction can be noisy, and we want to be very sensitive to the children and adults that we are serving and ensuring that their services are not interrupted. So we are ensuring that we're problem solving that and being proactive in ways in which we can minimize interruption there. Tammy? Okay, so here we go. Our construction phases begin. March 11th is when everything here begins. And we have a target date of mid-July where everything hopefully will be completed. And we will be then preparing for our actual move-in and preparing for the August programming start date for our academy, and pathways and therapy and all of our services within their new settings. What we have done is we have leased 3 modulars, and we have created the middle modular to look very much like a current modular that we call modular 1, I believe. Yep, modular 1. So that is the middle building, and then we have designed the bookend modulars to be to look like homes. I guess that's the best way I can say it, because again, and I'll speak more to this, a lot of what we are working on is this natural environment teaching and learning, and we'll talk more about that as we look at the next slides. Tammy. So here you have an overview of what we are about to build. So again, you'll see that center modular, and this will house all of Pathways administration as well as programming. And then you will have book-in homes for our adult programming and our Pathways programming. The thing I'd like to stress here is that, if you will, you're going to kind of have this east-west campus, and all the families that belong to the Pathways program will be able to check in and do everything they need to do administratively through the front offices in the middle building there. And you can see there you will have easy pull-up access, which again, parking is golden, as we all know, on this campus. So I'm very, very excited for the way that this has been designed and the way it's going to play out for all of our families, to have access to where their loved ones will be. And so this kind of just gives you an overhead view. With that, Tammy. So this is the Pathways to Adulthood. Again, we are looking for a very natural environment aesthetic. We really want to emphasize skills in which that are going to promote independence and self-respect and self-care, and to really work and hone in on skills that are purposeful and meaningful for individuals to be as independent as they can be. So our adults will have access to this bookend modular, and in addition to obviously the entire property back there that we're going to talk about. Tammy? The middle building that we talked about, again, you'll see up front there the offices, office 1, 2, and 3, if you will. Office 2 there is going to be where our front office administrator will be housed. So, you know, anybody that has any concerns or questions with regards to the ongoing support of their loved ones, that will be where administration is housed. In the middle there is where all of our lead instructors and leads for our DTA and employment will be housed. And then to the far left is where our lovely Miss Ashley's office will be. And then you have our 4 classrooms that will be behind there. And then you have your Pathways to Independence. Once again, there's a few changes in the design here, but we are once again looking for a very natural environment that will allow all of our consumers to really transition from rooms programming to different locations and programming. But hopefully that will all be meeting our overall objective, which is independence, self-respect, self-care and quality of life, which is all very, very important to us. Here are just a few pictures again of what the visual will look like. Everything is very much very secure. There will be gating around the entire property. So, you know, security, as you guys know, is a very important thing for me. We have to protect those that we serve. Tammy, if you could go back just for a moment, I really want to touch on this. So you will see there is going to be lots of landscaping and greenery and opportunities within the outdoor area of the build out. This is important for me because leisure is important, and my hope is that not only will we have gardening, outdoor leisure, but, you know, again, lots of opportunities for animals. Animals are very important to our friends, but access. So the entire property that is being expanded is going to be turf. And we were very adamant, although we knew it was going to be very expensive, that it is turf in place of natural grass, because we want all of our individuals who utilize wheelchairs to have full access to the entire property. And that is one thing, although I love our property currently, that does limit some of our friends, is that they cannot necessarily always access areas that we would like. So we are problem solving that by installing turf across the entire new expansion. So I just really wanted to make sure I touched on that. Tammy, if you will. So what you're seeing here is 2 food trucks. And this is a dream of ours. And I have written a few grants with regards to these food trucks. It is very much my personal wish that not only with our current property, but with the expansion of our property, that Life will be in a place to employ as many of our consumers as possible. One of the ways in which we have found we are most successful in serving our team members is with food. And currently, through the Transition to Employment, the Pathways to Employment program, we house our snack shack Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we provide hot lunch on Wednesdays to our academy. And we hope to expand our food services, not only internally, but externally, and to expand our partnership with the town of Gilbert, and be able to provide our food services with food trucks. And so that's why you see those there. And I kind of just threw a little tidbit in there about just further hopes and dreams for our transition to employment. Tammy? So we are now going to talk about the phases of construction. Here you will find in yellow is basically the area in which will be closed off, meaning there will be no access to team members and or parents, effective March 11th. So you can kind of see from this visual our current campus, and then what we are about to build, and the back field, if you will, of the property. So as of March 11th, this yellow area will be closed off. Ms. Tammy? Then the next phase, which is starting April 1st, opens back up, if you will, some of the pink peach coloring. The yellow zone is still very much closed off. Again, I'm going to talk more about this as to parent drop off shortly, but I really just want to provide as much information as I can to the phases in which we are working through. Tammy? We then go to phase 3, which begins June 7th, which again in the yellow closes off everything that is not accessible to staff and families. The pink peach, if you will, is areas in which we do have access to. Miss Tammy. And then we hopefully, oh, back one, if you will. Here you will find June 20th through July 15th is where most of the property, the parking in particular, opens back up. And we have a very small area of yellow that is still zoned off. We believe all construction will be done at this time, but this is where we will be really working through permitting and ensuring that we can take occupancy as we hope to. So with this, one of the biggest barriers that we want to talk to you, the families, about is what is going to be probably the biggest obstacle barrier, which is parking and drop off. And with this, I'm going to hand it back over to Miss Ashley to talk about what drop off is going to look like for all of our families during our expansion period. Miss Ashley?
Thank you. Okay, during this time, I just ask everyone to kind of bear with me because when we see the map, it's going to be a lot. And so with what you see on the screen right now, all of the families that are on here, I want you to think about the current programs that you are enrolled in. So Academy, I want you to look for your teacher's current name, but also if you're in the Academy, I want you to look if you are in our DTT program, because your drop off and your pickup could look different. And again, we did this as simply as we could to be as a smooth transition as we could to keep one solid plan for the entire construction phase. So our green, the colors are what I want you to pay attention to and kind of follow with me. This is going to be the key, and we're going to send this to everyone. You're going to have access to all of these things. But our green, following the green, will be Miss Jamie. Any students that utilize wheelchairs or have any mobility concerns. Afternoon TTE, for the most part, our afternoon TTE is also Miss Jamie's class. And anyone in the DTT program for pickup that are in rooms 118 and room 204. Those two DTT rooms would be Miss McKinsey, Mr. Caden's room, and then Miss Tachi and Miss Lindsay. So those pickup times for DTT would be following green. Our purple would be, which is the biggest change for these individuals, is going to be our Pathways program currently. So anyone that's with Miss Amina, Miss Jennifer, Miss Isabel, or Miss Kara, Miss Summer, Miss Diana, and Miss Savannah. You guys are going to be following the purple for drop off, and then pick up you will also see. And then blue is going to be for everyone else that you will be following that. And that includes my DTA, and then my morning TTE program will also be following blue. All right, so remember those colors when we go to this next slide, but again, we're going to send it out to you. Tammy? All right, so as you can see on here, it gives you a layout of what our current map is of our campus, and then our new the construction zone is going to be the new East Campus. Down at the bottom where it says entrance and exit, that is Gilbert Road. You will see where you're going to enter. The black is just anyone pulling in. So any parent and even any staff, anyone that's pulling in will be going east down that way. If you are one of the purple, the purple model that you're going to follow, you will be now dropping at Shenandoah, which previously we always said you couldn't park there, you couldn't go there, and we have partnered with them that they're allowing us to utilize that parking lot for the morning time and only the morning time. So purple will be dropping their kiddos off, will be parking in that. And then they will be walking their kiddos over to either get through gate C or gate B. I do want to let you guys know that there will be crossing guards on both sides of the traffic that will be stopping the flow to make sure everyone is safe for that. The blue will keep circling around to either drop off at gate D if you are in the DTA or TTE, or if you already utilize gate C, B, or A. And you will be parking along those gates if you are assigned to that color. Purple is what you, after you drop your kiddo off, go through the gates and come back out, you will follow the purple around and you will stay to the left. This is going to help us to know that you're just pulling through, and it's going to help us with the flow of traffic and to kind of ease that for everyone. For the pickup time, a lot of it is going to be at gate B and C. BPS, nothing's changing for you guys. You guys will be continuing as normal at gate A, utilizing gate A and doing your current routine. Anyone else that had a change specific to our back modular buildings that we're using the dirt lot for pickup, that will be gate C and B, and you'll be parking along those fences at that 2 o'clock time. The 3:30 time for the Pathways program will also be utilizing gate C and B. And then room 202, much like the drop off in the morning, 202 will be utilizing the front, as well as our afternoon TTE, the transition to employment, Pathways to Employment program will be utilizing the front. They are gonna still have the independence of walking to and from. If you're not sure if your student or loved one has that clearance already, please reach out to your teacher, the director of the program that your loved one or student is involved in, and they'll let you know that. And we all know who they are, so they have that ability to walk to and from freely from drop off and also pick up. Any questions with this? We know it's a lot on one slide. Again, we're going to send this out and we'll be able to answer any questions. So whenever we do that, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Lori, Caitlin, Miss April. They'll be able to help you with this process. And then also the teachers and the staff involved in the programs will also be able to help direct you. We know that Monday and Tuesday after break will kind of be, a learning curve for all of us as we're doing it. We just ask for your flexibility and patience as we do this, but also please keep in mind these things are new and we're going to have kiddos crossing over streets that we weren't before. So please, please, please follow the speed limit through our parking lots and maintain, 10 miles an hour. We ask that you please don't go over that, maybe even go a little bit slower on Monday and Tuesday as we are, all learning this new process together. Much like Miss Margaret was sharing, we want to make this easy. We know it's going to be change, but we are keeping the same plan for the entire phase of construction, just to minimize the amount of times we may have to change this. We know that some of our parents have parked in the back of our parking lots before, and parking has kind of been limited. We are utilizing other processes for our staff, so we are very, very hopeful that parking is no longer going to be an issue. You will still be able to park in front, in the designated parking. If you were coming in for a meeting or anything like that, dropping off paperwork, you got to drop off a lunchbox, anything like that. None of that will change for any of our families. But yeah, thank you guys. I'll give back to Miss Margaret.
Thank you, Miss Ashley, once again. If we can, we'll go to the next slide. So with all of this, I know we've talked a lot about what's happening on the second half of the property, but something that is very, very important to me that we understand, once again, is that we are one organization, one family, one unit, and one cause. And that cause is to best serve all of our families. And with this expansion and the move of Pathways, moving to the back half of the property, it is going to open up additional programming with regards to our current environment. Something that I spoke a little bit about earlier with regards to the statistics that are happening right now. We believe all of our children, all of our adults deserve every opportunity that we can provide them. And we work very, very hard every day to figure out ways to best serve those we serve, if you will, and to target areas that are what we feel to be primary areas of concern for individuals who have developmental disabilities. And I would really like to hand it over to Tammy at this time to talk about some of the global programming entities that we have and we will have and that we will continue to have through this expansion. With this, Ms. Tammy, please.
Yeah, thanks, Margaret. So we, a while back, had started a couple of these programs in our academy, and with the expansion, we're going to continue to expand on them. The mealtime program has kind of two components. We have the hot lunch program every Wednesday, where the clients and the students can get an entree that kind of rotates to help expose and simulate kind of that lunchroom feel. But with that, they are provided a fresh fruit and or vegetable, two of them each Wednesday. And with that, we're teaching them that kind of this family style meal where they can try new things, they can talk to their peers about what they're trying. And we've had a lot of success with kids both trying new things and advocating appropriately that they don't want those things, so that it's not so much of an issue when they're in the presence of food that maybe they don't love as much. The second side of that we've been working with is working with each individual classroom and the kids on a much smaller scale on a little bit more intensive a side. So we do a 6-week, twice a week program where we come in and we replace one of their snack times with the whatever the designated food is that week. This week it happened to be sweet peppers. So we went in, set it up, and we take data on how well they are engaging in this kind of communal meal. So they're not required to eat the food that we present, but they are learning how to sit and tolerate it being there. They're learning how to advocate that they don't want it. They're learning how to interact with it in a safe environment. And what we've seen is a lot of kids are finding that because my peers are trying it, I'm trying it too. And we've seen a lot of kids really start to flourish and try things that their parents would have never provided them before. So we're having some really good success with that. That program will continue. And the goal is to make sure that everybody on campus can go out with their family, go out to a meal, and maybe not necessarily eat what's presented, but be okay that it was presented. They can wait for their family to finish and they can have that quality of life back. So we're working really hard with everybody on campus to really kind of demonstrate what that looks like and what that means on a quality of life standard. For the toileting clinic, we do this once a year. It's a 5-day intensive toilet training clinic where usually between the gap week when school is out, but the summer program hasn't started yet, we usually take that week and we do an intensive clinic where the kids are put in underwear and we work really hard with making sure that they're on the schedule and they're being successful. A lot of parents have demonstrated that they really want to try and do this. And then, life is overwhelming. So if you can have somebody who can kind of kickstart it for you, you're much more likely to be successful at home. And we've been able to get quite a few kids completely toilet trained and able to ask to go independently, not just at life, but both at home and in the community, which is great news. Again, back to that quality of life. Then we move into our total communication campaign, which has been campus wide for a couple of years now. And it kind of started with this idea that everybody on campus should have the ability to get their basic wants and needs met. So whether you are a vocal learner, or you are an individual who has a speech generating device, or you're an ASL learner, or you're an individual who maybe you still pull people along to get what you need, or you still point to get what you need, or you need to write out what it is in order to get what you need, we are okay with that as long as it's functional for you. Then what we do is we take that one step further and we teach our staff how to identify that and prompt a language that is appropriate for that learner. So everybody on our campus gets a word of the week where we say, this is the word we're practicing this week. This week, I think it was home. And we told everybody how to sign it, right? I'm going to teach you how to sign it so that when we're talking to our kids that it's time to go home, or get your backpack, it's time to go home, they can model that time and time again. They also do it in their AAC devices. So everybody on campus knows where to find it. So if a kid is asking and they can't quite understand, they can show them on their device, hey, this is what you're trying to find out. And we can make that communication more effective for you. We continue this all year long, and every year or every week, it's a new word of the week. And we provide ample opportunities for them to use those really functional words. So a lot of them are things that these kids encounter every day, right? They're different colors, they're different foods, they're different, activities that they want to play in, things that where we can model them time and time again to really help that learner understand what we're trying to tell them, and hope that they can take that information and then turn it around and help us when we don't understand them. So those are the big three that we're continuing to expand on as our property grows and as our consumer base grows, to make sure that everybody really can get just those really fundamental, basic quality of life things under control, so that we can really offer them everything that they want.
Thank you, Tammy.
Yep.
One of the things I really like to expand on with that, though, is I think it's important to share that Life has a very in-depth partnership with our community, and primarily with our nursing programs that are ran by the University of Arizona and the Chandler Gilbert Community College, as well as all of our first responders in the town of Gilbert. And what Tammy just spoke on, not only are we doing here on campus, but we are also teaching our community to try and combat, again, ways in which our community can best serve your loved ones. And so I really feel like that's important to stress that, everything we're teaching here on campus, Tammy is doing an amazing job also facilitating that with our nurses and our first responders in addition. So thank you for that, Tammy. And I will say I'm very, very blessed because I have a granddaughter and a grandson that attend our program here. And my grandson asks for carrots every single day in his lunch. And although he does not eat his carrots, he asks for carrots. And so I consider that a big win. So thank you for that, Tammy. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. So as I kind of alluded to earlier, with this expansion and moving pathways, if you will, pathways to adulthood and employment and independence to the second half of our property, it's going to open up a big portion of our internal property, which we will be also expanding, adding additional academy classrooms, and significantly expanding our Foundations for Learning program, which is our program that partners with ABA and one-on-one support. And so I'm going to hand it over to Miss Caitlin at this time, and she's going to share a little bit about what we are adding internally to this expansion. Miss Caitlin.
Hi, everyone. As Margaret mentioned, my name is Caitlin, and I'm the clinical director over our ABA programming here at Life. And I'm super excited to be able to share some of the upcoming changes that we have going on for the Track 4 programming, which is now going to be rebranded and called Foundations for Learning. So what you're looking at right here is an overview of what we refer to as the cottage, which is where our adult programming takes place right now. Inside the cottage, we're going to be doing a little bit of remodeling to make it a more functional space for our kiddos that are in our Foundations for Learning program. The goal here is to recreate some of those the spaces that they'll see in the natural environment outside of life's gates. One thing that is really important in applied behavior analysis is analyzing and manipulating the environment to teach our kiddos how to be successful. So what we want to do is create an environment where they can learn, they can make mistakes, and they can be taught how to do things so that when they are outside of our gates where things aren't as friendly, they have the skills that they need. So in the cottage here, we will have a sensory room that will be our own personalized little area for the kiddos to use to calm down, take a break, advocate for themselves to take a step away. Then we'll also have a bedroom where they can learn some of those life skills that then we can generalize to the home. They will have a social learning room where we're going to do play board games, hang out, engage in some of those leisure activities. We're going to create our own library in this space. We found that a lot of our learners really love to read. And while they might not be the ones that are reading the story out loud, they love looking at pictures and connecting with people and having conversations about what they're seeing. We're also going to have our own cafeteria in here. A computer lab to work on some of those technology skills, and then we'll have a space for our more standardized tabletop activities for our ABA programming. And then we'll have our own playground as well, which will be fun. So as I mentioned, the Foundations for Learning environment is being remodeled to incorporate natural learning. This is going to be really important for our consumer base that are in the Foundations for Learning program, as they're not getting any younger. So with that continuum of care that we're looking to create, we are adding all of these different spaces to be able to work on those skills. So I mentioned a couple of them already, but the goal and the idea is that for track 4 of the Foundations for Learning program, that we will be able to take early learning, early intervention consumers and grow all of their skills all the way to get them ready for their adulthood years. And then now I'd like to open up the floor for any questions or comments that anyone might have. We are monitoring the chat as well if you want to drop them in there.